Watching news at Prime, good to have you with us. Let's begin here. Private security tycoon Calvin Mathibeli says there is a plot by the political killings task team to kill him and cover it up under the guise of him having shot first. Mathibeli claims that he is the victim of targeted harassment, intimidation and abuse at the hands of the PKTT, which he adds are being instructed by KwaZulu-Natal Police Commissioner General Mkhwanazi. The entrepreneur says the police have consistently tried to raid his businesses and seize his lawfully purchased firearms, all because he is the enemy of a powerful taxi family that Mkhwanazi is allegedly doing the bidding for. Well, let's get some context now. Newzroom Afrika's senior politics reporter, Zena Ngobo, sat down with Mathibeli in an exclusive interview, and she joins us now. Newzroom, let's set the scene before we bring in the KZN police spokesperson. You spoke to this businessman, and what are his exact accusations against the police in KZN and the man who leads them?
So it's very important for us to contextualize this matter and separate issues. We interviewed Calvin Mathibeli on the 20th of January this year following a raid on his business premises last year on the 19th of December. Now, last week, there was also another raid at his business premises last Friday, as we can see the visuals on our screen. And so this prompted a response from the KZN South African Police Service, because Mr. Mathibeli then took to his Facebook to express himself regarding that particular raid on the 13th of Feb. In this particular interview that we've done with Mr. Mathibeli, he says a whole range of things. He says, one, he is the target of consistent harassment by members of the KZN South African Police Service. There was a fraudulent warrant of arrest that was used for that raid on the 19th of December 2025. And this is primarily why then, Goli, it took some time for us to even air this interview, because we also needed to independently verify this claim of the warrant of arrest being fraudulent. Now, we've since, as Newzroom Afrika, independently verified that. We went to the Germiston Magistrates Court, and then we were taken to, we were referred to the NPA, and then we were ultimately told to go to the police. Now, the DPCI in Gauteng does not have a case against Mr. Mathibeli, and they believe the warrant of arrest is fraudulent, and they intend to investigate the matter. But also, this particular CAS number that was linked to this warrant of arrest is not linked to Mr. Mathibeli. It's linked to another man who is implicated in SARS tax fraud and by the surname of Perumal. So this was in regards to the 19th of December raid, which Mathibeli then claims Mkhwanazi sent, members of the political killings task team and other units to both his private residence in Lalusha and as well as his business premises where they found his wife. And this is what he had to say.
Apparently, what will have happened is that the police, numbers of police, different units, PKTT, there were also members of DOC unit and other units as well. It was a well-mobilized operation whereby these guys, they came there, they were pointing guns at my house, and they found my sister in that house. And when they found my sister, they were saying that they came to arrest me. They've got a warrant of arrest. Then can she call me? And my sister tried to call me. And as my sister tried to call me, I didn't take that call, Zenda.
Okay.
Mainly because 10 minutes prior to, I got a call to say.
From who?
My reliable source.
Okay.
Who called me and informed me that there are police coming to assassinate me, under the pretext that I failed to cooperate, and therefore I shot back at the police, which is their modus operandi. That is a well-known modus operandi.
So, Koli, the motive, you might ask, is what? Why would the KZN police commissioner be involved in such activities? What does he stand to gain? And this is exactly what I also ask in the interview that's going to be playing again at 7:30. But he, Mathibeli, that is, also says he claims Mkhwanazi is doing the bidding for this one particular powerful family that's in the taxi industry, and his only sin is that he is giving services to enemies of this particular, powerful family in the taxi industry. But also, there's lots of disputes over contracts. In particular, he gave an example of giving protection at the RK Khan Hospital in 2023, where allegedly this family had been earmarked for this particular contract. So he says that Mkhwanazi, whom he says Mkhwanazi admits he's got relations with the private security industry, is doing the bidding of the private security industry, but in particular this family in KwaZulu-Natal. So you're claiming that General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi, the KZN police commissioner, is doing the bidding for private security firms that are your competitors in the province, which is why you are saying you have a target on your back. Am I understanding you correctly?
Not only that, including very notorious taxi people. He doesn't work mainly for these private security sectors. He's working with taxi people that have been targeting me.
Who are those people?
Well, for now, we didn't want to mention people's name, but there are people whom have been bullying me as well, myself as well. The same people. They've tried. There are a lot of hits that have been put on myself. I can count a number of those, whereby one of the most recent one, which was plotted against me, was for me to be assassinated there was assassination planned on the 15th of May 2024 by the same people.
All right, so those are the allegations leveled by Calvin Mathibeli against the police in KwaZulu-Natal. So let's bring in the KwaZulu-Natal police spokesperson, Colonel Robert Netshiunda, to respond to what has been said here. Colonel, good evening to you. Thank you for your time. Let's start with Calvin Mathibeli. Is he a wanted man in KwaZulu-Natal by the police? If so, what is it for?
We do not have that name on the list of suspects who are wanted by police in KwaZulu-Natal.
You do not have Calvin Mathibeli as a wanted person in KZN, but why are police in KZN involved in searching for him and allegedly raiding his properties?
Police in KZN are not raiding his properties the way he claims. We explained in our statement yesterday that the operation in question, the one on the 13th of this month, was a head office operation. It had nothing to do with police in this province. We fail to understand where this Mr. Mathibeli finds information that police in KwaZulu-Natal raided his premises. He himself will be able to explain why he will say it's police in KZN. But like we explained in our statement, we believe that he's got some sort of obsession with police in this province.
Mr. Netshiunda, it's Yanda Ngobo that you're speaking to right now. Let's take a step back then and go to the raid that took place on the 19th of December, which is actually a point of contention in this particular interview. Your police did go there. You did confirm that in the right of reply that you gave to Newzroom Afrika on the 22nd of January last year, that the nature of the operation was the execution of a warrant of arrest. But we've since now independently verified that that warrant of arrest is fraudulent. Did you check before going to Mr. Mathibeli's properties whether or not this was a valid warrant of arrest?
In policing, timing is everything, and the time is of essence. As the police in this province, in December last year, on the 19th, if I'm not mistaken, we received information from a person who identified himself as a colonel within the DPCI in Gauteng, finishing us with a warrant of arrest with all the details, the names, the ID numbers, and address of the suspect they were looking for, and that the police in this province should assist in securing the person, not arrest, securing the person, so that they could come and arrest the person. And because the person is in the province, and the police have a responsibility to ensure that if somebody is accused of any crime, anywhere in the country, and we are asked to assist, we'll go and do that. There were two parallel processes. The first one was to go to the address provided and secure the suspect if he's there, so that he has not run away. Secondly, verify the person, the identity, and also the document we are operating on. It turns out that the document was fraudulent, and the person in question was masquerading as a DPCI official, of which we are now at an advanced stage of investigation on who the person is. We identified him, and we are dealing with the process. Even if we went to the address, it's our job as police. We don't want to be accused of inaction. If we had any malicious intentions, we could have arrived there and caused havoc. But we arrived there and asked for the person as mentioned on that document. If the person was there, we would have said, here we are because of this document. Now we are calling the person who said we must come here to come and fetch you. That will have been the process.
See, the challenge then becomes, Mr. Netshiunda, because thank you for that confirmation that you've now also given us that it is a fraudulent document, and this Colonel Smith that claimed to have been, having this warrant of arrest, it's simply not true. But the challenge then becomes that, again, there was another raid on Mr. Mathibeli's property just last week. And then the question becomes, what exactly is needed from him? Have you been able to even get that from National? Because these are two separate things, but it's the same person at the center of it all.
One person can be on the radar of different police units from different provinces. If a person goes around committing crimes across the country, for sure he will be wanted for different things by different units from different provinces. But in this case, what is bizarre is that this person goes out and issues out a personal attack to the Political Commissioner of KwaZulu-Natal, and the police in this province. On a follow-up, the very same person suddenly knows that he wrote letters to the National Commissioner of Police in this country, not the provincial commissioner, which means he is quite aware that police who are looking for him are police at national head office. And if he was that innocent or law-abiding citizen, nothing stopped him to say, I hear that police are looking for me in KwaZulu-Natal. Now I need to find out who is looking for me. Then I go to the person and say, here I am. I hear that you are looking for me. What is it that you want from me? Not to go out and rant and accuse people who do not have anything to do with police coming to your premises.
Yeah. Colonel Xoli, once again, so an important admission from yourselves, and that is that you went searching for Mr. Mathibeli on the basis of a false warrant. Shouldn't your obsession, I'm borrowing this word from you, shouldn't your obsession be to find this person and what their intentions were against Calvin Mathibeli, as opposed to what your statement seemed to focus its attention on yesterday, and that is to say Mr. Mathibeli has an obsession with the KZN police. Aren't you misguided there?
We have got no business as to who is looking for him and for what. Because like we've explained before, in the province, we don't have him on the list of most wanted or wanted suspects. Now that we have established that the document we had was fraudulent and the person was an impersonator, we are investigating why would the person mislead the police in this province. We are dealing with him on those bases.
So how far are you then on the search for this person who concocted a false warrant of arrest for you to go after a private citizen?
Safe to say, we know who he is, we know where he is, and we understand that wherever he is, he had access to certain police information, which he could even come up with that kind of a warrant, which on all sides, at all costs, it looked legit at first glance.
I mean, Mr. Netshiunda, I personally spoke to your boss, Lieutenant General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi, earlier on today, before the interview aired at 1:30, and there are two things that he wanted to convey and communicate. The first was that he will be personally challenging Mr. Mathibeli on a legal basis regarding some of the things that he said, but more importantly, confirming what you've said, that the raid last Friday, at least, was at a national level, which raises the issue around national police, which is the claim he made, entering the province of KwaZulu-Natal to effect a raid on Mr. Mathibeli's premises without the KZN Police Commissioner's knowledge. That's also a concern of its own, over and above you actually acting on what you say and admit was a fraudulent warrant of arrest.
Just last week, the police in this province were requested by a private forensic investigator to look for a suspect who was wanted in Gauteng for killing a whistleblower. Police acted. Same process, verifying the information, verifying the warrant, securing the person. After verification, arrest was effected, successful, the person is behind bars, successful. That one in December, same process, only turned out that the document was fraudulent.
And last week's one? And last week's one, it was national.
Police were acting with speed and on time. The raid last week from head office, we believe that it ticked all the boxes because the cases that they are investigating and who they are looking for is not a KwaZulu-Natal suspect. And they could go and do the raid and arrest him. Then they will say, General Mkhwanazi, we are in your province. We're pressed for time. We had to do this timelessly. Here he is. We are going to book him in one of your stations, this station. Nothing wrong with that. Yeah. Because in policing, we work with time and timing.
But in policing, Colonel Netshiunda, you also work with coordination. I remember General Mkhwanazi being very angry that police entered his province without his knowledge to execute certain things. This is what he complained about at the ongoing commissions of inquiry right now. So is that normal for national police to come to your province to execute some operation without the knowledge of the police commissioner?
It is not a norm in the police that people will come to a different province and execute the warrant or operate in any manner. The norm is that they will inform the commander in charge of the province. But what is also not normal is for somebody of Calvin's caliber to shift the blame from whoever is looking for him and accuse the police in KwaZulu-Natal and the commissioner of the province. We did not expect him to talk about the police in the province who did not go to his place last week, and yet come with stories of him being a target, going to be killed, and all those things. That is not normal as well. And one other thing that we would like to plead as the police in this province is that whatever we talk as the police, we produce evidence. Hence, we are saying now we know that the warrant was fake and we know who's behind it. But here is a person who's given this airtime to come and talk speculations, allegations without any proof. That tarnishes the names of people who are working so hard to regain the trust of communities to the police.
Just the last one from my side, given everything that South Africans listen to on a daily basis with the various commissions, are you saying, now that you've confirmed that this warrant of arrest was fraudulent, that there was no way, urgent or not, to quickly confirm whether the particular CAS number is linked to the individual or individuals that you were sent on that day of the 19th of December to go and pick up by the DPCI, otherwise known as the Hawks?
We were running parallel processes. One process, verification. The other process, secure the target, so that you don't verify the information, and by the time you want to go to the target, it's gone, out of the country. Do these things simultaneously. Verify information as you are busy going to secure the target. Those are parallel processes, and nothing's wrong with those two processes. Yes, it turned out to be fake. We are investigating that. We are glad we know that. Lessons learned. That does not mean that next time we will stop doing the job of securing the target because we are afraid of fake documents. We will go and secure, not arrest, not detain, verify, and once all boxes are ticked, effect arrest.
Finally, Colonel, last one from my side as well. Mr. Mathibeli has made some very damaging claims against the police commissioner in KZN, and that is that he is doing bidding for some private families in that province that are involved in the security sector. Are you able to respond to those claims that General Mkhwanazi is doing some bidding for certain families? Because that is very damaging. And does he plan to pursue legal action, by the way?
That is what we're talking about, that somebody will be given a platform to communicate baseless allegations, doesn't produce any proof of any sort. And for that reason, General Mkhwanazi himself, on his personal capacity, is pursuing legal action against Mr. Mathibeli. Whether Mr. Mathibeli will choose to communicate publicly about the legal actions will be up to him. But General Mkhwanazi will be litigating on his personal capacity. Again, police in KZN, as they are also tarnished by the same person, pursuing another legal action against this person, because we can't stand and fold arms when somebody is going out spreading lies, misinformation, untruths, allegations, baseless, uninformed, and then we keep quiet. So he must raise himself for litigation, and he, like we said yesterday, must just brace himself for deeper investigations, because now that he has opened himself to us, giving us an invite, VIP invite to his dealings, business dealings. The invite is accepted. We are going to start looking at who is this person, what is he made of, what are his businesses, why he is so vocal, because we are not going to be intimidated by an individual who might have skeletons to hide and think police will shut up.
Yeah.
That's sounding a lot like a veiled threat, Mr. Netshiunda.
Let me ask you this then, Colonel. Because what you're suggesting there is that police, out of being accused of something they didn't do, you're now going to go out of your way to dig into this person's space in order to find something. Does that sound normal for you? Is that okay?
And an abuse of state
Police are
resources.
Police are not going to go out of their way to look for something or to dig for something. Police are going to look at this particular person who is accusing them. Who is this person? Then we must know the person we are dealing with. And if in the process of knowing him, we find something untoward, police will act.
For the record?
That is not a threat.
For
that
the
is
record?
not a threat.
Sorry, I keep talking over you. I apologize. For the record, does General Mkhwanazi have any relationships in the private security space?
We have got security companies that are part of the ICE and ES projects, the E2 project, that work with the police as a force multiplier to fight crime. Those companies form part also of the business against crime that we meet every now and then to discuss how we can better manage and how can we better police our people. Those are the companies that General Mkhwanazi and his management and the police in general in the province and elsewhere in the country will work with. He does not have any specific security companies that he works with. And for the record, Mr. Mathibeli says that General Mkhwanazi is siding with his competitors. We do not even know who Mr. Mathibeli is competing with. Maybe one day he will give us evidence of which company is his competitor that police are favoring or that General Mkhwanazi is favoring. But to answer your question, General Mkhwanazi works with all security companies which are registered in the ICE and ES E2 project of the SAPS in the province.
Colonel Robert Netshiunda, thank you very much for your time this evening. Thanks indeed for making time for us. All right, Ziana Ngobo, thank you very much for painting a picture first before we launched into that conversation with Robert Netshiunda. Just a reminder to you, the viewer, that the exclusive interview that Ziana Ngobo conducted with Calvin Mathibeli, you can look out for that at 7:30 this evening.